Hello, I am Carol Doak, and I am excited to share with you what I love about my new book, 60 Fabulous Paper Piece Stars. This book is an updated version of a book I wrote about 20 years ago called 50 Fabulous Paper Piece Stars, and you'll find the same original 50 stars in the book. However, the beginning information that in the book is updated to share with you some updated techniques such as how to calculate yardage. You'll see in the book how to enlarge or reduce the foundations to make them a different size. And there's a chart that's real easy to use. You'll learn how I chose fabrics for the block and also about fabric direction, when it's important and when it isn't. How to also cut the fabric so it'll open the way you would like to. How to calculate what size fabric piece to cut. Now the good news is every star block in the book has a cutting list, so you don't have to do that unless you decide to change the size of the foundation. And then there is pictures, step-by-step photos all along the way of how I foundation piece. I also share how I do that so that I'm doing it assembly line fashion so that it's quick and easy. Also, I share the tips for reducing the bulk when you're doing the foundation, and then how the seam allowances should go so that they'll lay nice and flat. Once you get into the stars, you'll see there's a gallery, and your first reaction will be, wow, these are dramatic. Going out and buying new fabrics to be able to make all these blocks was so much fun, and it allowed me the opportunity to do really fun updated versions of the blocks in the original book. Now also, you'll notice in this book that all of the foundations are positioned towards the outside edge of the book, and we asked to do that purposely so that it would be really easy for you to copy or scan the foundations and have a digital PDF file on your computer. So this morning, I went ahead and scanned in the Alabama block, and it worked out perfectly. This lay flat binding makes it so easy to use this on a scanner or a copy machine. And then I printed it out, of course, on Carol Doak foundation paper. I wouldn't use anything else. And I printed out 4 copies, and then you notice I've pinned them in the middle. So they're all ready for me to use my rotary cutter and trim a 1/2 inch outside the edge, the outside sewing line, so that my foundations will be all ready. You can, as I said before, enlarge or reduce the foundations. So here's the Alaska block. And the Alaska block, I looked at the chart and saw that if I wanted to make a 9-inch block, I would reduce it by 75%. And when I reduced it, I ended up with 4.5-inch foundations that would then make a 9-inch block. It's always, as I say, important to check the measurement of a foundation when you print it out. And so as you go through the book, one of the things you'll notice is how contemporary and updated the blocks are. Here's California done with very dramatic red, white, and black. And the Idaho star, I used a really fun print for the background and then did a black star with these really pretty solids that pulled from the background fabric. You'll notice that in some of the blocks there are lots of pieces that are wonderfully dramatic, and I always tell people, don't shy away from a block with lots of pieces because it's not more difficult, it's just more time to make it. So a block with 40 pieces is made in half the time that you're going to use if you're going to make a block with 80 pieces. So every block tells you exactly how many pieces, and there's also a chart in the front that lines all the block numbers up with how many pieces. The Nebraska block got updated so that I ended up with triangles in the center rather than those 16 merging seams, and that simplifies making the block. It's always easier to simplify the block than it is to try to make it more difficult. This block here in North Dakota, I used a directional fabric for the background florals. And in the book, you see exactly how to cut those triangles so they'll open up exactly the way you want them to. And then when you get into the new blocks in the back of the book, you're going to see the 10 national park blocks. So this is Acadia, and you can see what 4 of them would look like together. I love that of this aspect of this book, is seeing what these blocks would look like in a quilt. And so you kind of almost lose the 8-pointed star aspect of that block, but you can find it if you use different fabric placement. And then here's Glacier National Park. I did sometimes when I looked at a block, I thought, oh, you know, that reminds me of kind of icy cool Glacier National Park. And so sometimes the national park did inspire the combination of fabrics. Here's Redwood, and I use this wonderful vivid red for the background. And then just kind of did a scrap effect. When I actually started to gather the fabrics to make these blocks, one of the first thing I did was go and order some jelly rolls in kind of solid colors or solid light colors. And they were wonderful because in a lot of these blocks, you don't need big yardage. So jelly rolls work out wonderful to be able to use the elements in the star. If I wanted to use a fabric for the background area of the star, these background triangles, I often would purchase a fat quarter or a quarter yard of fabric. That works out fine. So I am thrilled to death, to say the least, about these new star blocks and the updated version of this book. And I absolutely can't wait to see what you're going to do with these new designs. Enjoy. This is Carol Doak talking about her new book, 60 Fabulous Paper Piece Stars.